Our blue planet is a world of water. The great oceans, which cover more than 2/3 of the Earth's surface, are the engine of our global climate. They are responsible for some of the most beautiful, life-giving phenomena we know, but also for some of the most severe and violent weather imaginable. It is here, far from the reassuring solidity of land, that nature's power is truly unleashed, generating forces that can dwarf our most ambitious creations. And yet, for all this immense power, most of its fury goes completely unseen by human eyes. The sheer vastness of the open ocean means that these monumental events, these conflicts between wind and water, play out on a lonely stage. They are titanic struggles that occur hundreds, even thousands, of miles from any coastline, witnessed only by the seabirds that ride their tumultuous currents and the deep-sea creatures that feel their pressure far below. It is a world apart, governed by its own unforgiving rules. But occasionally, through the lens of a camera on a vessel caught in the heart of the maelstrom, we are granted a rare and humbling glimpse. These moments, captured by those who must endure the storm, allow us to bear witness to the raw, untamable power of the sea. They are not merely pictures of waves, they are testaments to nature's might and a profound reminder of our own smallness in the face of such awesome forces. Today, we look at 5 such encounters. Our journey begins in the often treacherous waters of the North Sea. It is a basin known for its rich resources, but also for its sudden and violent temper. Here, an emergency response and rescue vessel, a ship specifically designed to save others, finds itself in a battle for its own survival. It has been caught in the grip of a hurricane, an event of extraordinary ferocity for these northern latitudes. There is no harbor to run to, no escape. The only way is through. The view from the bridge is of a world gone mad. The horizon, our most constant reference point, has vanished. In its place is a churning, chaotic landscape of water and foam. Colossal waves like liquid mountains rise up ahead, their peaks torn into spray by the shrieking wind. The ship, a fortress of steel weighing thousands of tons, is tossed about as if it were a child's toy. Each wave that strikes the hull sends a deep, shuddering groan through its entire structure. Down below, in the heart of the vessel, the crew must carry on. Their training prepares them for such moments, but preparation can only go so far when faced with the relentless physical reality of the storm. The vessel climbs a near vertical wall of water, hanging for a terrifying moment at its crest, suspended between a gray sky and a gray sea. For an instant, there is a panoramic view of the chaos, a seascape of impossible peaks and troughs stretching in every direction. Then, the inevitable descent. The bow plunges downwards, accelerating into the abyss, and buries itself in the trough with an impact that feels final. A wall of green water, solid and unforgiving, sweeps over the foredeck, submerging everything. Windows on the bridge, many meters above the normal waterline, are momentarily blinded by the deluge. It is a cycle that repeats without end. The agonizing climb, the vertiginous drop, the crushing impact. Inside, the noise is deafening, a symphony of destruction. The roar of the wind, the crash of the waves, the groaning of stressed metal, and the rattling of everything not bolted down. Yet, amidst this cacophony, there is a focused calm. The captain and the crew, their faces illuminated by the green glow of the radar screens, work with a quiet professionalism. Their movements are deliberate, their voices steady, even as their world pitches and rolls violently around them. The ship itself is a marvel of engineering, built to withstand this very punishment. Its purpose is to hold station, to be a point of safety in the most unsafe of environments. But even the strongest ship is subject to the laws of physics. The sheer force of the water threatens to buckle steel, to shatter reinforced glass, to find any weakness and exploit it. This is not just a storm, it is a test of endurance for both the vessel and its human occupants. Every wave is a new threat, a unique and unpredictable entity. Some strike a glancing blow, while others hit head-on with the force of a battering ram. The sea spray, driven by hurricane-force winds, is like a horizontal blizzard, reducing visibility to almost zero. The crew must trust their instruments, their captain, and the integrity of their ship, for there is nothing else to trust in this maelstrom. They are utterly isolated. Radio communication may be possible, but no help could possibly reach them. They are a tiny, self-contained world in a universe of fury. The storm does not care for their mission or their courage. It is an impersonal force, a manifestation of the heat energy transferred from the ocean to the atmosphere, now being expended in a spectacle of terrifying violence. And so they endure, hour after hour. The distinction between day and night blurs into a perpetual twilight, a world of gray and white and the deep menacing blue-black of the water. Their survival depends on the skill of the helmsman to keep the bow pointed into the waves, preventing the ship from being turned broadside, a position from which it might well be overwhelmed and capsized. It is a primal struggle, humanity's ingenuity against the planet's raw power. We move now from a vessel designed for movement to a structure intended to be stationary, the oil rig. These are colossal islands of steel, some of the largest man-made objects on the planet, tethered to the seabed by immense chains and anchors. They are designed to operate for decades in some of the world's most hostile marine environments. The Bornholm Dolphin, a semi-submersible drilling rig, is one such giant, but even giants can be humbled. In 2015, a storm of exceptional violence swept through the North Sea, directly over the position of the Bornholm Dolphin. A semi-submersible rig like this is designed to be stable. Its main platform sits high above the water on enormous columns, which are connected to pontoons, submerged deep below the surface, where the water is calmer. In theory, this allows waves to pass through the structure with minimal impact. But this storm was anything but theoretical. The crew, housed in the accommodation block high on the main deck, could only watch as the sea began to rise to an unprecedented level. Waves, which would normally break harmlessly against the columns far below, began to grow into liquid monsters. These were not ordinary storm waves, they were rogue waves, individual titans born from the chaotic combination of smaller waves, focusing the ocean's energy into a single towering wall of water. The footage captured from the rig is almost unbelievable. The camera looks down, not out, at the approaching wave. It seems to rise from the depths, a moving mountain range filling the entire view. The rig, which stands on legs dozens of meters tall, is suddenly faced with a wave that threatens to engulf it completely. The scale is difficult to comprehend, the sheer volume of water being lifted into the air is staggering. The moment of impact is both terrifying and awesome. The wave does not just crash against the columns, it rises up and slams into the underside of the main deck itself. Water, tons and tons of it, is forced upwards through the grated decking, erupting in geysers of white spray across the platform. This is a place that should never, under any circumstances, be touched by the sea. The fact that it is demonstrates the sheer, overwhelming power of the storm. For the 100 or so people on board, it must have been a profoundly unsettling experience. Their home and workplace, a bastion of stability in the open ocean, was being shaken by forces it was barely designed to withstand. The rig shudders, the deck vibrates, and the sound of the impact would have been a deep, resonant boom, felt in the bones of every person on board. They are, for that moment, no longer above the storm, but in it. The danger is very real. A wave of this magnitude can cause significant structural damage. It can tear away equipment, damage walkways, and compromise the integrity of the platform. Furthermore, the rig is not a ship. It cannot maneuver. It is anchored to its position, and all it can do is absorb the punishment. The crew are trained for emergencies, but an event like this is on the edge of all possible planning. What we are witnessing is the raw energy of the ocean made manifest. This single wave carries enough force to toss vessels, reshape coastlines, and here to threaten a structure weighing over 30,000 tons. The footage serves as a stark reminder that no matter how sophisticated our engineering, we are still building on the edge of a wilderness, a domain that operates on a scale of power far beyond our own. After the wave passes, the rig is still there. It is held, but the event leaves an indelible mark on all who witnessed it. They have looked into the face of a true ocean monster and survived. The Bornholm Dolphin incident has since become a legendary case study for naval architects and engineers, a data point in the constant struggle to understand and design for the awesome power of the sea. We return to the North Sea, this time aboard another emergency response ship, but under very different conditions. It is the heart of winter, and the vessel is on a grueling 3-day patrol. The challenge here is not from a single hurricane force event, but from the relentless attritional nature of a persistent winter storm. The cold adds an entirely new dimension of danger to the already perilous environment. The air temperature is well below freezing, and the sea, while not frozen, is dangerously cold. Every wave that breaks over the bow brings with it a shower of liquid that freezes almost on impact. Slowly, inexorably, the ship begins to accumulate a thick crust of ice. Railings, winches, life rafts, and even the superstructure itself become coated in a growing layer of white crystalline weight. This accumulation is not merely an inconvenience, it is a grave threat. The ice adds tons of extra weight to the vessel, but more dangerously, it adds it high up. This raises the ship's center of gravity, making it less stable and more susceptible to rolling heavily in the churning seas. If too much ice builds up, the ship could become top-heavy and risk capsizing. A slow, insidious danger that grows with every passing hour. The crew must therefore venture out onto the exposed decks to combat the ice. It is perilous work. They are tethered by safety lines, but the deck is a treacherous, moving surface, slick with ice and periodically washed over by freezing waves. Armed with mallets and axes, they must physically break the ice away, sending it crashing in sheets into the sea. It is a brutal, exhausting task, pitting human warmth and endurance against the unfeeling cold of the Arctic air. All the while, their primary mission continues. They are out here to watch, to listen, to be ready. Their radar sweeps the empty horizon, searching for the faint electronic signature of a vessel in distress. Their radios are tuned to the emergency frequencies, listening for a mayday call that may never come. They are a sentinel, a guardian in a vast and hostile wilderness, their presence a thin line of hope for any mariner unlucky enough to be caught out. The sea itself is a confused and angry mess. There is no clear pattern to the waves, they come from multiple directions, a result of a complex and long-lasting weather system. The ship corkscrews and lurches, making simple tasks like walking or preparing food incredibly difficult. Sleep is fragmented, snatched in brief moments of relative calm. The constant motion and the roar of the sea wear down the crew's physical and mental resilience. Imagine the isolation. For 3 days, they see nothing but the gray, tumultuous sea and the gray, oppressive sky. There are no other ships, no signs of life, save for the occasional, hardy seabird gliding effortlessly in the gale. They are entirely reliant on their vessel and on each other. The bond between crewmates in such conditions becomes absolute. Trust is not a concept, but a necessity for survival. This footage gives us a sense of the sheer grit involved in operating at sea during winter. It is not about one dramatic moment, but a continuous draining struggle. The camera, coated in salt and ice, shows us a world devoid of color, a monochrome battle against the elements. The faces of the crew, red from the cold and wind, are etched with fatigue, but also with a profound determination. This is the reality for those who work the winter seas. It is a constant negotiation with an environment that is, at best, indifferent, and at worst, actively trying to reclaim all that floats upon it. The ship is more than a machine. It is a lifeline, a small bubble of warmth and order in a world of cold chaos. And its crew are the ones who keep that bubble from bursting. Our next encounter is of a different nature altogether. It is not a storm, born of the interaction between atmosphere and ocean. This is something born from the Earth itself. In 2011, a colossal undersea earthquake off the coast of Japan unleashed one of the most powerful and destructive tsunamis in recorded history. While its devastating effects on land are tragically well documented, very little footage exists of the tsunami in the open ocean. But a Japanese Coast Guard vessel captured just that. A tsunami is not a normal wave. In deep water, it is not a towering wall of water as is often depicted. Instead, it is a surge, a sudden and rapid raising of the entire sea level. Its wavelength can be hundreds of kilometers long, and it travels at the speed of a jet airliner. On the open ocean, a ship might pass over one and its crew might barely notice the sea level rising and falling by just a meter or so over a period of many minutes. But this vessel, the Matsushima, was not in the deep ocean. It was in shallower coastal waters, where the awesome energy of the tsunami begins to show its true face. As the wave approaches the coast, the decreasing depth of the seabed slows it down and forces its energy upwards, creating the monstrous, destructive wall of water we associate with the term. The footage we are about to see captures that terrifying transformation. From the bridge of the Matsushima, the crew observes something profoundly unnatural. The sea ahead is not breaking, it is rising. A vast, unbroken swell is approaching, a moving hill of water that stretches from one side of the horizon to the other. There's no white crest, no foam, just a silent, ominous bulge in the ocean's surface. It doesn't look like a wave, it looks as if the entire ocean is tilting. The captain is faced with a critical decision. To be caught by this wave sideways would mean being instantly rolled over. To flee from it would be impossible given its speed. The only option, counterintuitive as it may seem, is to turn the bow of the ship towards the approaching surge and motor directly into it. It is a choice that requires immense courage and a deep understanding of the sea. The footage shows the ship beginning its climb. It is not the violent, crashing ascent of a storm wave, but a smooth, yet terrifyingly rapid lift. The ship is raised up, and up, and up. The view from the bridge changes from sea level to what feels like the top of a cliff, looking down on the water behind it. The sheer scale of the displacement is hard to process. This is not water being moved by wind, this is the entire water column being lifted by a pulse of energy from the planet's core. For a few moments, the Matsushima is on the crest of the tsunami. It has successfully ridden over the initial surge, but the danger is far from over. The tsunami is not a single wave, but a series of them. The sea around the ship becomes a chaotic mess of powerful currents, whirlpools, and smaller but still dangerous secondary waves. The crew must navigate this treacherous, unpredictable water, all the while knowing what this same wave is doing to the coast they have left behind. This footage is scientifically priceless, but it is also profoundly chilling. We are witnessing a geological event, not a meteorological one. The power on display is of a different order of magnitude to even the most violent storm. It is the power of a shifting tectonic plate, transferred through the medium of water, about to be unleashed upon an unsuspecting coastline. The ship, in this context, becomes an observer, a survivor of a planetary convulsion. The crew on the Matsushima were among the very few to see the 2011 tsunami in its transitional state, to experience its power at sea before it became an agent of almost unimaginable destruction. Their footage is a unique and humbling record of the Earth's capacity to reshape our world in a matter of minutes. For our final chapter, we look at two different vessels in two notoriously rough bodies of water, both facing the relentless pounding of the sea. First, we join a chemical tanker in the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean in 2021. Tankers are enormous ships, built to be robust, but their long, low profile makes them particularly vulnerable to being swamped by heavy seas. The footage shows the view from the bridge, looking out over the long foredeck. The ship is making its way through a severe gale. The waves are not necessarily the tallest we have seen, but they are powerful and, crucially, their length seems to be perfectly wrong for the ship. This means that as the bow dips into a trough, the next wave crest arrives, at precisely the right moment to crash down upon it with maximum force. The result is a continuous bone-jarring assault on the vessel's structure. We watch as the bow disappears completely, under a mountain of green water. For a few seconds, the front third of the ship is submerged. Then, tons of water wash down the deck, crashing against the intricate network of pipes and equipment that are essential for the tanker's operation. Any weakness in a hatch cover, any failure in a seal, could lead to water ingress and a potentially catastrophic situation. The noise alone, a constant series of deafening booms as water impacts steel, is enough to fray the nerves. For the crew, this is not a short-lived ordeal, but can go on for days. They must place their faith in the designers who calculated the stresses on the hull and the shipyard workers who welded the plates together. Every weld is being tested to its absolute limit by the flexing and pounding of the sea. Our second scene takes us to the infamous Bay of Biscay, a stretch of water notorious for its ferocious storms, especially where the deep Atlantic meets the shallow continental shelf. Here, we see a cargo ship in heavy seas, and we witness a different kind of danger. The ship is rolling violently from side to side, an indication that it may be struggling with its stability. A ship's stability is a delicate balance. It depends not only on its design, but also on how its cargo is loaded. If the weight is distributed incorrectly, particularly if it is too high up, the ship can become tender, meaning it will roll easily and may not have enough force to right itself. In a storm, this can be a fatal characteristic. The ship rolls one way, and the cargo, if not properly secured, can shift. This cargo shift exacerbates the roll, pulling the ship further over. The next wave that strikes it can then be enough to push it past its point of no return. We watch as this cargo ship takes a terrifying roll, laying its deck so far over that it is nearly parallel with the sea. Water pours over the railings. For a heart-stopping moment, it seems as if it will not recover. Slowly, agonizingly, the ship begins to right itself, a testament to its inherent design. But the incident is a stark illustration of the dangers of heavy weather navigation. It's a complex dance between the power of the sea, the design of the ship, the skill of the crew, and the simple physics of weight and balance. A mistake in any one of these areas can have disastrous consequences. These two clips, from the Atlantic and the Bay of Biscay, show us the everyday reality of professional mariners. They are not always dealing with record-breaking rogue waves or tsunamis. More often, it is this, the relentless, grinding, powerful sea that simply wears things down. It is a world of calculated risks, of immense forces, and of a deep and abiding respect for the power of the ocean. The footage we have seen today is more than just a spectacle. It is a profound lesson in humility. These momentary glimpses into the ocean's fury remind us that despite all our technology and ambition, we are tenants on a planet governed by natural forces of an almost unimaginable scale. The mariners who capture these videos are not just sailors or engineers, they are our eyes and ears on the front line, experiencing a world that most of us will, and perhaps should, never know firsthand. Their courage and professionalism in the face of such power is a testament to the human spirit. The ocean gives life, regulates our climate, and connects our world, but it also commands respect. It is a wilderness in the truest sense of the word, and, in its storms and surges, we see the untamed heart of our planet beating with immense power. These images stay with us, a powerful reminder of the delicate balance we inhabit and the awesome might of the world's great oceans. I do hope you have found this journey into the heart of the storm as compelling as I have. The ocean holds countless more stories, and we will continue to explore them together. If you wish to see more of our planet's wonders, please click the link on your screen. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.